Good morning. Welcome to Bookie Monsters. This is a place where we look at new releases and talk about books before heading into work. My name is PK, and it is Monday, August 7th. Thank you very much for showing up. Welcome. If you're new, welcome back. If you've been here before, I appreciate you either watching it live or watching it in replay. Good morning, Mary. How are you doing? It is a Monday, for sure. Um, oh yeah. Did you? Oh, no kidding. But the heat rating. Oh, it was on asphalt. Oh, that's the worst. But sounds like you sold a lot. That is awesome. And then you get the whole week to recover. I'm gonna take that away. I'm going to turn that off. Let's go here. Not at all. You are the best person in the world. I love you so much. You are so supportive. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Not many people get up this early, even though it is 2 hours ahead of me. Did you read anything good or were you just recovering? I finished two books. I finished Cassiel's Servant by Jacqueline Carey. I gave it 4 stars because it was good. But it was a retelling of the first couple books in that trilogy. So there was an extra star here for nostalgia purposes. This is a fabulous, fabulous trilogy, but start with the first one, Kushiel's Dart. It is a very, very good fantasy romance book. Then I read Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. This was my first choice for Garbogust. The theme this month for some people is to allow yourself to read trashy books, and this was one I considered top of my list for trashy, and I counting it as read, even though I read, say, the first 100 pages and then I skipped to the end because this was not a book for me. There's a book for everybody, and this is not a book for me. I compared it to, I'm a Gen X, so there was a book back in the 80s called Less Than Zero that talked about the very, very affluent, very angsty, very brand conscious young people and their manufactured crises. And this was very much that for this generation, in my opinion, adding in mental illness, narcissism, and objectivizing and so forth. And I gave it 1 star, and that star is for myself for giving it an attempt to read. I do have this in the physical copy and the original cover. So that I'm glad I did it because now I can form my own opinion. But it was not my cuppa. So to kind of cleanse my palate, I am reading a romance, Exclusively Yours. Shannon Stacy is one of my very favorites of the what's called category romance, and this is the first in the Kowalski family. I've not read this series. I've read her previous or a newer series called Sutton's Place, which I highly recommend. It's very fun. And I also started Hard Knocks by Nathan Lowell, who's one of my very favorite sci-fi writers. I recently got a neighbor reading this, and he said there's nothing happening, but I love it, and he's binging it. It is humans in space, and I love it. But we are here for new releases, and I did find we will be going to a new page this week that focuses just on the cozy romances. But we'll start with our tried and true bookriot.com. And it's Monday, so we're going to start with mystery because we're alliterative like that. Let's go back here. Still early for someone who's retired. No kidding. Boy, if I were retired, no, I'd still be getting up early, but not this early. But like on weekends. But then I'd take a nap in the morning. Oh, good. You're still reading it. Still like it. That's good. I am I'm a quick reader, but not as quick as some people, but I do. It's definitely to give yourself permission to read what you would consider trashy. It could be romance trashy. It could be men's fiction trashy. Like always have in reserve a Doc Savage, the pulpy stuff. Whatever you consider to be a guilty read, maybe would be another definition of it. But yeah, Garbogust. It was, I think, Criminali on a YouTube channel is the one who started it. And he does one definitely in August, but he did one at mid-year point earlier this year. So he does it twice a year, I think. But it's just kind of neat to fit in what you would consider your guilty reads. Um, so I'm trying. I have let's go back here for a second. Back on Goodreads, I have a shelf. No, not TBR. Back. For Garbogust. The ones that I'm considering trying to read for Garbogust. These are my choices. These aren't ones I'm definitely going to hit, but these are my options that I'm possibly going to be getting to. Hey, that shouldn't be here. How did you sneak in here? No way. All right, let's go back because the clock is ticking. I've got to my tabs up here are all over the place. All right. New for this week, new releases. Again, Tuesday is release day. And so we are looking at these a day early, but there's so much to look at. We start on Monday. Bridge by Lauren. There's a logo here that doesn't quite cover. Bukes. In this reality bending thriller from the author of The Shining Girls, a grieving daughter's search for her mother becomes a journey across alternate realities. It says mystery thriller, but with that kind of topic, that should also be under sci-fi. It was a game they played, the other worlds, the other lives. It was part of her mom's grand delusions. It wasn't real, unless it was. Bridget Kittinger has always been paralyzed by choices. It has a lot to do with growing up in the long shadow of her mother, Jo, a troubled neuroscientist. Jo's obsession with one mythical object, the dream worm, which she believed enabled travel to other worlds, led to their estrangement. Now, suddenly, Jo is dead, and in packing up her home, Bridge finds a strange device buried deep in Jo's freezer, the dream worm. Against all odds, it actually can open the door to all other realities and to all other versions of herself, too. Could Bridge find out? Could Bridge find who she should be in this world by visiting the others? And could her Jo still be alive somewhere? And there's a sinister cost, but there's a sinister cost to trading places and others hunting the dream worm who would kill to get their hands on it. Across 1,000 possible lives, from Portland to Haiti, from Argentina to the alligator infested riverways of North Carolina, Bridge takes readers on a highly original thrill ride, pushing the boundaries of what we know about mothers and daughters, hunters and seekers, and who we choose to be. That sounds interesting. The cover, though, isn't that great. It doesn't really pull me in at that point, but it's intriguing enough topic that I would check out like the first paragraph and see if it pulls me in that way. Dark Corners by Megan Golden. Terrence Paley is about to be released from prison for breaking and entering, though investigators have long suspected him in the murders of 6 women. As his freedom approaches, Bailey gets a surprise visit from Madison Logan, a hot young influencer with a huge social media following. Hours later, Madison disappears, and police suspect she's been kidnapped or worse. Is Madison's disappearance connected to her visit to Bailey? Why was she visiting him in the first place? When they hit a wall in the investigation, the FBI reluctantly asks for Rachel's help in finding the missing influencer. Madison seems only to exist on social media. She has no family, no friends, and other than in her posts, most people have never seen her. Who is she really? Using a fake Instagram account, Rachel Crawl goes undercover to BuzzCon, a popular influencer conference where she discovers a world of fierce rivalry that may have turned lethal. When police find the body of a woman with a tattoo of a snake eating its tail, the FBI must consider a chilling possibility. Bailey has an accomplice on the outside and a dangerous obsession with influencers, including Rachel Correll herself. Suddenly a target of a monster hiding in plain sight, Rachel is forced to confront the very real dangers that lurk in the dark corners of the internet. Timely content. Yeah, I don't like it. No. Oops. Uh, Looking Glass Sound by Katrina Ward. In a cottage overlooking the windswept Maine coast, Wilder Harlow begins the last book he will ever write. It is the story of a sun-drenched summer of his youth and of the killer that stalked a small New England town, of the terrible tragedy that forever bonded him with his friends Nat and Harper in unknowable ways, of a horror that has followed them over the years. Wilder has returned to the town decades later in an attempt to recount that summer's events in his memoirs. But as he writes, Wilder begins to fear his grip on the truth is fading, and events in the manuscript start to chime eerily with the present. He's even started seeing a dark-haired woman down in the icy waters below the cottage, but nobody else can. No longer able to trust his own eyes, Wilder begins to fear that this will not only be his last book, but the last thing he ever does. Dot, 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 dot. Lisa Jewell, none of this is true. Celebrating her 45th birthday at her local pub, popular podcaster Alex Summer crosses paths with an unassuming woman called Josie Fair. Josie, it turns out, is also celebrating her 45th birthday. They are, in fact, birthday twins. A few days later, Alex and Josie bump into each other again, this time outside Alex's children's school. Josie has been listening to Alex's podcast and thinks she might be an interesting subject for her series. She tells Alex, on the cusp of great changes in her life. Josie's life appears to be strange and complicated, and although Alex finds her unsettling, she can't quite resist the temptation to keep making the podcast. Slowly, she starts to realize that Josie has been hiding some very dark secrets, and before she knows it, Josie has inveigled her way into Alex's life and into her home. But as quickly as she arrived, Josie disappears. Only then does Alex discover that Josie has left a terrible and terrifying legacy in her wake, and that Alex has become the subject of her own true crime podcast, with her life and her family's lives under mortal threat. Who is Josie Fair, and what has she done? That's why I'm antisocial. The Blonde Identity by Allie Carter. I think I have heard of this one. It's the middle of the night in the middle of Paris, and a woman just woke up with no memory. She only knows three things for certain. She has a splitting headache. The hottest guy she has probably ever seen is standing over her, telling her to run, and oh yeah, people keep trying to kill her. Sounds like a Monday. She doesn't know who or why, but when she sees footage of herself fighting off a dozen men, there's only one explanation, obviously. She's a spy. Except according to Mr. Hot Guy, she's not. She's a spy's identical twin sister. Too bad the only person who knows she's not the woman they're looking for is this very grouchy, very sexy, very secret agent who reluctantly agrees to help her disappear, which is easier said than done when a criminal organization wants you dead and every intelligence service in the world wants you caught. Luckily, no one is looking for a pair of lovesick newlyweds on their honeymoon, and soon they're lying their way across Europe, dodging bullets and faking kisses as they race to unravel a deadly conspiracy and clear her sister's name. But with every secret they uncover, the truth shifts until she no longer knows who to trust, the twin she can't remember, or the mysterious man she can't let herself forget. I gotta admit, that sounds cute. I would check that out. And you can tell it's lighthearted because it's pink on the cover. That's just the code. The Hurricane Blonde. What is this with blondes? This was pre-Barbie. What is it with blondes? By Holly, probably Holly with two L's there, Sutton. Salma Lowe, progeny of Hollywood royalty and once promising child actor, now spends her days as a guide for the Stars 6 Feet Under tour, leading tourists through Los Angeles' star-studded avenues to haunting sites where actresses of the past met untimely ends. Selma knows better than anyone that a tragic death is the surest path to stardom. Her sister Tawny, viciously dubbed the Hurricane Blonde, was murdered in the 90s. The case never solved, and to Salma's ire, indefinitely closed, until she stumbles upon a dead body mid-tour on the property where her sister once lived, at the precise scene of her sister's demise. Even more uncanny, the deceased woman also looks like Tawny. The police are convinced this woman's death was an accident, but Salma is haunted by the investigation's echoes of her own past. What if this woman's murder points to Tawny's killer? Desperate to track down the culprit once and for all, Salma launches her own investigation, plunging back into the salacious but seductive world of Hollywood. And what she'll find is that old secrets may be worth killing for. That is also, I don't know, I must be in the mood, somewhat intriguing. What I like about that is that this is set up for an interesting series because she's doing tours of um, tragic Hollywood deaths, and that could lead to this actress's strange death, that actor's strange death, and so forth. So that's kind of clever. Indeed, you can read them like a book. But bum. All right, there's the pun of the day. No, it's not the pun of the day because we are heading into Cozy Mysteries, releasing this week. We've got about 10 minutes. All right, this actually came out a couple days ago, it looks like. Murder by the Book by Joy Patrick. Now, this is a new site to me. I'm not sure what's going to happen when we click. Does it take me to... Oh, goes right to Amazon. Okay. And it's a Kindle Unlimited, so that's helpful. Sometimes the sweetest small towns can be big on bitter secrets. Security analyst Grace Jordan never imagined she'd be solving a murder when she returned home to Sweet Cove, North Carolina, or that she was good at it. Harboring a decades-long secret of her own, Grace leaves her carefully controlled, predictable city for Sweet Cove to help her whimsical Aunt Lila run her bookstore after the death of Lila's sister. When a local businessman ends up dead surrounded by a mysterious collection of books, accusations fly, and Grace is determined to put her analytical smarts to work to uncover the truth. Meeting a motley crew of locals along the way, including a mysterious older man with an unusual skill set of his own, Grace learns that logical analysis isn't her only tool when solving mysteries. That's cute, and I would totally go into that bookstore. Yep. All right. Murder on Maple Way by Miranda Rose Barker. Maple Way Mystery Club #1. Also Kindle Unlimited. That's a bright yellow cover. When a wealthy yet relatively new older couple purchase a large mansion in town, they exude an air of peculiarity, mystery, and coldness, particularly the wife. However, the situation takes a dark turn when the husband is found dead, seemingly the victim of a murder. Consequently, the spotlight turns to the wife, who swiftly becomes the prime suspect in the eyes of the police. Solving this mystery will prove to be a difficult one for Sarah, a young leader of a local book club, and her amateur sleuth group of friends. Even though the book club friends find her standoffish and unpleasant demeanor difficult to interact with, they courageously dive into the depths of their investigation, determined to crack the enigma surrounding the murder. As the clock relentlessly ticks away, frustration mounts as they find themselves in a race against time, desperately attempting to unravel the intricate mystery. Yet at every turn, it appears that they encounter nothing but dead ends, one after another. With each turn of the page, you find yourself drawn deeper into the suspense and anticipation. But my question is, why are they even trying to solve it? It doesn't say. Why is it your job? I don't get it. I'm sure there's a reason. Trapped on the Trails by Mel Morgan, Last Resort #3. Also Kindle Unlimited. Rosie Jones thought reopening the trails of Last Lake Resort would be a fun summer project, but when the locals resist and a crucial map goes missing, Rosie finds herself in hot water, and things only get worse when two hikers disappear without a trace. As Rosie scrambles to solve the mystery, danger lurks around every corner of the trails. What secrets will she uncover about Squirrel River's history, and can she prevent Last Lake Resort from becoming a graveyard for lost hikers? And I just noticed this is only 99 pages, so a novella. Um, so a quick read if you are interested in that, particularly towards the end of the year if you're trying to boost up your number of books read. Uh, this one is not clickable. So we'll jump over to here. A Clue in the Crumbs by Lucy Burdett, Key West food critic #13. Food critic Haley Snell and her pal Miss Gloria are overjoyed to welcome Violet and Bettina Booth, aka the Scottish Scone Sisters, to Key West. The sisters will host the UK Bakes Key West edition, but the same day they arrive, the bed and breakfast the sisters are staying in gets torched. The contest begins the next morning, featuring three local bakers. One is the inn owner's wife, Raina, who is not only the most talented chef of the group, but now a person of interest in the fire. The next night, a dog walker discovers a body near the bed and breakfast. The victim appears to be Raina's husband, and the murder weapon points directly to the Scottish Scone Sisters. But the show must go on. In between filming sessions, the three elderly ladies and Haley must search for clues to the brutal murder in order to find out who wants to force them out of the kitchen. But as they draw closer to the answer, the threats from a murderer grow closer too. Are they now in danger of getting baked off? Yeah. Honey Drop Dead, Tea Shop number 26. Good for her. 26 books. I've not read this series. I have the first one, and I've just never gotten around to it. Theodosia's Honeybee Tea was an elegant affair set in Charleston's new Pettigrew Park amid newly planted native grasses and a community beekeeping project. But when a phony beekeeper shows up and sprays toxic smoke at the guests, the party erupts in chaos. Worse yet, a shot rings out, and Osgood Claxton III, candidate for state legislature, falls to the ground dead. Holly Burns, the gallery owner who asked Theodosia to cater the tea, is understandably heartbroken. A man is dead. Her guests are angry and injured, and the paintings that were on display are left in tatters. When the police don't seem to have a clue, when old line politicos don't want questions asked, Holly begs Theodosia to run a shadow investigation to help restore her gallery's good name. Between hosting a Wind in the Willows tea and Glam Girl tea, Theodosia questions everyone that had a bone to pick with Claxton. This includes Booker, an angry outsider artist, Lamar Luckett, Claxton's political opponent, and Mignon Merriweather. Why do they all have alliterative names? The dead man's soon-to-be ex-wife. But the investigation becomes a political hot potato following a second murder, the revelation of a messy affair, a chase through a swamp, and a vandalized shop. Yeah, I need to get to that. I need to get to that series. But we are out of time. So tomorrow we'll pick up again and we'll probably do looking at the romances. And all right, well, brave looking at me. Um, we'll look at the romances that are out this week, and then we'll continue with the cozy mysteries because there's lots of them. There's always lots of them, which is great for readers. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a good Monday. Don't force a good Monday. Just choose to have the best Monday that you can. Uh, I hope you guys read good things over the weekend, and I hope you're reading something good right now. Remember, you don't get good person points by reading books that you're not enjoying. They're supposed to be fun. If it's not working for you, do a soft DNF, set it aside, put it on pause, whatever it is that you need to do. It's just not the right time. Otherwise, I thank you very much for showing up. We'll be here again tomorrow, 6 a.m. Mountain Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'll be doing reading sprints this week again, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 6:05 Mountain Time. And we'll be reading the book of your choice. That was fast. Looking forward to the romances, indeed. Oh, you're welcome. They showed up. Good. Alrighty. Everybody, thank you. God bless. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.